Surny, mate, why are you still playing TF2? Don't you know what year it is? There's like 2 people that queue for casual, and I'm not even gonna bring up matchmaking. What are you, fucking gay? Just play some Overwatch, mate. Just move on like everyone else.
Whoa, man. Fucking hell. Turn off that fucking Strawman generator. Like, we don't need that right now. That's something for later. Anyways, that aside, let's just have a little chatter. How about that, you know? You and me, and we'll see where it takes us. And considering that it's 2017 now, and every YouTuber in this scene is giving their input on where they see TF2 headed this year, I thought might as well jump on the train and do the same thing. Wait, no, shit, that was a different bandwagon that everybody was jumping onto. It was like some sort of bait that everybody fell for. I'm extremely late on this anyways, whatever. No, fuck. Whatever, let's just continue. And I'm also gonna stop being an absolute lazy cunt and getting preoccupied by completely irrelevant shit like watching 2 robots discuss the meaning of life on Twitch.
Okay, let's have kids.
Fuck. Whoa! Okay. This is escalating.
67.
What are their names?
67 children. I don't know either, man. It's just, I don't know, man. So, after a rather controversial year of 2016, I can see why people are being a little bit skeptical about the game's future. After all, Valve have proven themselves to be incredibly out of touch time and time again with what the community really needs. And for all we know, they're working on the Pyro Pack and the jungle themed stuff, but at the speed that they operate, that can still take a long time. I won't even be talking about my predictions for which weapons they should change or add, or which new maps would be cool, or which hats will be in the next tiered cosmetic crate in order to create artificial rarity. I also don't need to talk about things that have already been confirmed, like contracts and all that stuff. I just don't want to be doing this because as soon as I start imagining what things might be like, I will inadvertently create hype for myself, and, well, we've seen where that took us. Obviously, there is no denying that TF2's been declining over the past couple of years. Now, this has been happening so slowly, and because the game is free, we've constantly had enough people joining the game in order to offset the amount of people leaving it, which means that TF2 actually still holds a quite remarkable spot in the top 5 Steam games of daily concurrent players almost 10 years after its initial release. I won't be repeating and regurgitating what I've said months ago already, but in short, TF2's been dying for ages, but it's still far from dead. There are a number of inherent issues of the game that Valve just needs to fix, but it remains to be seen how, or much rather, when they will actually do so. Even though they apparently have a dedicated team of 16 developers, a handful of which are probably actually programmers, their priorities are probably rather shifted onto other things right now. And for all we know, these things will be fixed eventually. I mean, it only took them about 10 years to fix that hitbox desynchronization bug, so, you know, there's hope. It's also not a secret at all that Valve as a whole, as a company, just doesn't really care about TF2 right now, simply because Dota and virtual reality just make more money or are more interesting. So where does this connect to the actual topic of the video? You know that point that I'll be trying to make here? Well, let's start with why I personally still enjoy playing this game, despite the mountains of arguments that might be against it. Over the past 5.5 years, I've racked up a little bit over 4,000 hours in this game, and in these 4,000 hours I have essentially managed to touch every single corner that this game has to offer. I've played pubs, competitive and actual leagues, I've traded, jumped, surfed, I've played virtually every single wacky game mode and map there is, and somehow I haven't quite gotten bored of the game just yet. I've tried customizing the game to levels of complete unplayability and also made fun of and parodied most aspects of the game, yet somehow, there's always a little more. TF2 is just a game that you keep on coming back to, even if something new and shiny takes that spot for a little while, and similarly, you shouldn't consider someone else's decision to leave TF2 as a bad thing. They're just done with the game for a little bit, and they will probably return at some point later. People also have to realize that TF2 is just an old game, and it's way past its prime and won't ever be capable of actually having another great surge in popularity. That's simply too optimistic, even for me. And I think another major part as of why I've managed to keep enjoyment for this game can be attributed to the fact that I make YouTube videos about it, and stream it on Twitch occasionally.
Wow! Wow!
And this is also where the next part comes in, something I've also already talked about before. TF2's YouTube scene is saturated. Almost everything in the game has had a video made on it, mostly by people that don't even play this game anymore, and you can't blame YouTubers for not wanting to make TF2 videos as frequently if there's simply nothing original to do anymore. So at some point your only options for making entertaining videos on this game come down to creating sequel after sequel to a recurring series where every video is basically the same thing. Or you can dig into the absolute depths of the game and try to find something new and wacky. So that's why I'm just taking the easier approach right now, and I'm just talking about the game and the things I think about it.
Mate, Surny, can you stop complaining about how hard it is to make Team Fortress 2 videos? Like, I daily upload and I have no issues with it whatsoever. No one actually cares. Just get back to working on episode 582 of Pub Stomping. Dickhead, mate.
TF2 also has an incredibly dedicated community, be it as divided as it may be. People still trade in the dying economy of TF2, investing thousands over thousands into a bunch of pixels. People still play the game in pubs and have fun with the memes and the strategies that stem from them. And people still try to miraculously turn TF2 into an esport. The amount of tournaments and their prize pools have certainly increased over the last year alone, and that all thanks to the awesome people dedicating so much time and effort to a game that will probably never quite take off. Now don't get me wrong, competitive TF2 is fucking awesome to both watch and play, but without any sort of Valve side support other than the broken mess that is competitive matchmaking and the occasional in-game notifications, it won't be going anywhere anytime soon. This community is the integral part as to why TF2 is even still around. Just look at all the charity events raising money or the dedicated content creators. That's fucking incredible. The only flaw you could really point out about the community is that it's simply too divided in certain parts, where certain parts will just never be able to quite get along. Basically what I'm getting at here is that TF2 is an old game. Now, it's a game that may still be around for a long time as a legacy game, because it's free, but it's still a game that will have the active part of its community die down sooner or later. And then, at that point, that is basically also the game's demise. Also on topic of the community, I'll be going on a little tangent here right now and just talk about Rally Call real quickly. So, in case you've missed it, Rally Call has happened again for the second time now this last weekend, and it has managed to raise over £4,500 in money donations towards the International Animal Rescue. That's quite a lot of money for the animals, and that's over 10 times as much as the last event has risen last summer. So Rally Call has grown massively and did incredibly well this year, probably because there has been a lot more involvement. You know, from high-profile casters to YouTubers mixed and matched and also somewhat stacked, into teams duking it out in a 6v6 tournament, to all the amazingly talented artists creating posters and the extremely sexy-looking badges awarded for both donating and participating, which is pretty fucking cool. You know, Rally Call has managed to bring several parts of the community together for a common cause, and that's awesome. Now, I'm not particularly proud of owning this little thing. I guess I'm happy to have it, but we won it in a pretty dirty way. And obviously having winners medals in a charity tournament is a little iffy, and it's exactly what led to people trying their absolute hardest to actually win them. Now, despite any controversy that might surround the stacked teams or whatever, it's still a fun event, and the final matchup was actually pretty damn close. There were loads of incredible people involved, and it just goes to show how dedicated this community still is, and I'm interested in seeing where the future takes us, whether there will be more events like this, and how well they will do. Overall, I'd really say that Rally Call was a huge success, and that's probably attributed mainly to the fact that people really wanted those badges. So, as a final point here, let's talk about that one thing that will probably make everyone stop watching the video, regardless of what I even have to say. So, if you want to quit the video right now, thanks for watching, dude. I'll see you next time. So new and shiny things, you know, they come up and you can't really blame anybody for playing them. Overwatch is a good game, for example, and most of the skills that you have acquired in TF2 will translate over greatly.
Yo my god, you mentioned Overwatch! Dislike, uncomment, unsubscribe. Don't shut up, YouTube nerd!
But that does not mean that it's better than TF2, nor that TF2 is a better game than Overwatch either. Overwatch will never be a replacement for TF2 for me, even if Valve were to literally cut off all official support for TF2 next week. Overwatch is just too different of a game for me. We simply just need to come to terms with the fact that TF2 is a very old game, and that because of the lack of constant new stuff, people are just jumping ship to the nearest island, and many of them have actually settled in pretty well. So what does this mean? Honestly, just let people do what they want. There's your answer. If you're upset that your favorite YouTuber has stopped making videos on a certain game and you really want him to play it again, you're very likely to actually achieve the opposite effect. The person has stopped making videos on said game for a very specific reason, and if they get several messages a day, every day, demanding that they make a new video on this and that game, they'll be even less motivated to do so. It's just a completely natural thing, so you'll have to just grow up and deal with it, man. Sorry. So, to round it all out, personally, I'll just be making my best efforts to actually make TF2 videos to entertain people, but you should probably expect more other things interspliced in between on my channel as well. I just feel like going back to the roots of my channel more, and considering that my channel was never only TF2 based to begin with, that's exactly what will happen. Sure, my channel trailer says that I mainly make TF2 stuff, and that will definitely hold true, but you should probably expect some other different things every now and then. So just as a little shameless plug here, if you actually enjoyed this video, or any other of my TF2 videos really, simply for the style, the editing, or whatever it may be, I'd strongly recommend that you check out some of my other videos, even if they're not TF2 based. They're basically the same thing as my TF2 videos, but probably better, in my opinion. Shameless plug over! I'm interested in seeing where TF2 will go this year, and I'm also interested in hearing other opinions about this topic. Now obviously every YouTuber has already talked about it, so I don't need to ask them, but I can still ask you. One person can only think of so much, so if you have any predictions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. That is an incredibly cliche thing to say. You know, just quality content, man.